I want to start today's video with a bit of a confession. I've talked about this on live stream and I've talked about it in previous videos as well, but if you don't know this about me, I clearly have an addictive personality. And one of the things that I've been addicted to is card games. Magic the Gathering, Pokemon, those types of games. There's just something about opening a booster pack and getting cards out of it that could be powerful, that could be junk, but regardless, there's a rush in opening those cards. I do that quite a bit. And obviously, as video games began to incorporate this into their systems, I began to love it. It started with simple offerings like Hearthstone, which was a game that I played very heavily, spending several $100s with each new expansion just to get all of the cards and to play it. It seemed perfectly reasonable to me at the time as a Magic the Gathering player, but here's the thing. When I buy Magic cards, I can always sell those cards, sometimes even for a profit. When you buy digital goods, you're really not getting anything for your return. And you know, when mainstream video games started doing this, I was pretty against it because I was not too keen about paying a $60 price tag and then also being expected to spend money. But I did still buy my share of Overwatch loot boxes. You can see my unboxings of these loot boxes here on the channel. My argument at the time was that these were merely cosmetic items, so they didn't affect the gameplay, and people who didn't want to purchase these would not be affected by it. But the reality of it is, I realize in retrospect, I was one of those people who didn't need these skins, and they just sat on a dead account now because I don't play Overwatch anymore. I spent probably a few $100s to play Overwatch, and it was a pointless endeavor, a huge waste of money. Also really fooled around with a lot of different mobile games, a lot of these what they call gotcha games or gashi, or I don't even really know how to pronounce the word. But I started with a game called Summoner Wars, and that game at the end really expected you to spend a lot of money, so I became frustrated and quit it. I tried Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes and unlocked almost every character in that game, but routinely got frustrated when they would paywall a high-end character like Commander Luke Skywalker and other characters that I desperately wanted and even needed for some parts of the game without spending money. I just didn't like to spend money on these games, but every once in a while I felt pressured and I would pull out my credit card and spend 20 or 30 bucks because it seemed reasonable at the time for a game I've gotten hundreds of hours of enjoyment from. But now that I've retired from those games and I no longer play them, I feel really dumb about spending that money. These days, I do still play a lot of gacha games. Most notably, I've been playing Epic 7 recently because all of my friends are into it, and I've never felt compelled to spend money in this game at all whatsoever. I've also been playing Raid Shadow Legends. They approached me to possibly sponsor the channel, so I've been testing the game to determine whether or not that's something I would like to do. As a free-to-play player, these games are fairly balanced and fairly decent, and so I enjoy these games most of all. I might end up spending money on Epic 7 or Raid Shadow Legends at some point, but as it is right now, I'm enjoying the free experience. I hope I never really feel the need to pull the credit card out. I don't mind endorsing decent free-to-play games that don't really make me spend a lot of money. I don't mind endorsing a game that has some upsell as long as you never feel compelled to purchase that stuff. And I definitely don't mind recommending card games because here's the thing, when I buy these cards, even when I'm done with them, I still have the cards. They're worth something to somewhere out there, so I can get some of my money back out. So I'll probably always be playing Magic the Gathering, even though I'll quit these other silly digital versions after a while. This is why I found myself so excited when Nintendo said that they would be getting into the mobile game market, because Nintendo has always made high quality games just filled to the brim with little Easter eggs and little things to do and multiple ways to play your game, and just overall a lot of fun. They filled their games with fun. And with Super Mario Run, I have to say I really enjoyed that game, but more than anything, I enjoyed the business model. You could play the first few levels for free, and if you liked the game, you could spend $10 on the game, unlocking the entire game, and that's all you could ever spend. You could only spend $10 on the game, and Nintendo made a pledge that that's how they would do their games moving forward. Here's the problem, though. Super Mario Run only made about $50 million, and to Nintendo, that was quite the disappointment. They were expecting to make a heck of a lot more money from it than that. And if you remember, the Nintendo stock actually fell a far percentage, I think it was 5 or 6%, because stockholders were disappointed that Super Mario Run only made that little money. They were expecting a lot more from Nintendo reaching into the mobile market. And so Nintendo basically went back on their pledge and decided that they would start monetizing their games a little more fully. Fast forward to Fire Emblem Heroes, which was the next Nintendo mobile offering that I really spent some time with, and I have to say, this was exactly what I was afraid of. I felt very compelled to buy the orbs in this game to unlock more heroes so that I would get more powerful heroes, and it was always a blind bag. You never knew which character you were going to get. You could get something very powerful or something very, very weak, very similar to opening a pack of Magic the Gathering cards, and so I found myself addicted. I ended up spending a reasonable amount of money on the intro packs for this game, and then found the gameplay very boring, and then realized I had wasted my money because I didn't really want to grind or play this game very much. The only thing that was interesting to me was collecting the heroes, and a lot of people felt the same way. You see, Fire Emblem Heroes was way more profitable than any of their other mobile launches, and Nintendo got a taste, and their stockholders got a taste of what real mobile money could look like. This game has now made $500 million, $500 million worldwide, with Japan accounting for about 56% of it. So obviously people do like to spend money on these gacha mechanics. Now, as somebody who's been playing Magic for 26 years, I have to say I do enjoy opening packs and opening orbs and firing from pipes, things along that lines, but I also know it's a very addictive thing, and so I worry about that because I wonder how many people spend money on this game without realizing how much they spent and how worthless the items they're getting out of it are. And I think this is the turning point for Nintendo. I think at one point we all hailed them as being the people that would bring reasonably priced quality mobile games to the market, and instead they started going downhill from here, favoring gacha mechanics and bad gameplay in favor of just basically milking their customers for money. They became the Wario, the one thing we all hoped they would never be. Recently, they released Dr. Mario World, and this was definitely a sign of things to come. The gameplay here was very subpar. It definitely was not the gameplay of traditional Dr. Mario, which is something I think a lot of people would have welcomed. It was definitely mobilized. But then on top of that, they added in ways to spend money and ways to unlock different characters that had different stats and different abilities, definitely adding gacha mechanics to this game. Now, this game was a complete and utter flop. I don't even think they advertised it very much. At the end of the day, this game ended up bringing in about $100,000 in its first month, according to Wikipedia. So this game was a total and utter failure. But their next game, not so much, because whereas Dr. Mario is a bit of a niche brand, the next game is a heck of a lot bigger. And that is, of course, the worldwide phenomena known as Mario Kart, with the mobile offering of Mario Kart Tour. And we all knew that Mario Kart probably would not translate very well to the mobile phone, but we all had hopes that the gameplay would be at least decent. Unfortunately, they made the gameplay very dumbed down. There's only two different mechanics that you can use here. One that lets you slide all the time and you won't slide any other time, or a mode where you cannot slide at all, or drift, I guess is what it's probably actually called. Either you drift all the time or you don't drift at all. That's a terrible mechanic scheme, and for the most part, the gameplay just dries itself. I know that's very common for mobile games, but I was hoping for something different when it came to Mario Kart. But ignoring the subpar gameplay, this game is one of the most heavily monetized Nintendo games to date, having so many different ways for you to spend money, including unlocking characters, unlocking carts, unlocking gliders, unlocking all of the different stuff in the game, and including a subscription service. In this game, there's a premium currency that you will get very slowly by playing the game, and then you can use that to fire off the pipe to get either a glider or a cart or a character. There are different odds for each of those. You can spend as little as $2 to get 3 of the gems, which is a really odd pricing because it costs 5 gems to fire off the pipe and take a roll anyway, and you can spend as much as $69 on a package of gems as well. So definitely one of the more heavily monetized mobile games we've seen by Nintendo. And look, the chances of you getting the character that you want from these pipes is very slim. Dry Bowser, Metal Mario, Peachette, Pauline, they each have a 0.26% chance. So you're going to spend a tremendous amount of money trying to get one of those characters. I mean, even the chances of getting regular Mario is very slim. In a game called Mario Kart, you only have a 1% chance of getting Mario. That means you're going to make 100 rolls to guarantee your lock of Mario, and that's not how statistics works. You're not actually guaranteed to get them. In the video I'm featuring right now, this gentleman spent $100 on Mario Kart to try to get Pauline, and I don't know that he got Pauline, but if he did, did, statistically speaking, that was an oddity. He probably needed to spend closer to $200 or $300 to unlock Pauline, if my math is correct. And keep in mind, I'm not very good at math, but statistically speaking, you would have to spend a tremendous amount of money to unlock a character you wanted in this game off of that super rare list. Now, of course, you can always grind and slowly get that currency and slowly level up your characters and get everything the natural way, but you're talking about years worth of gameplay to unlock a character that you want in this game, and if the gameplay isn't very good, and in this case, the gameplay is nothing even remotely close to what you would find in Super Mario Kart 8, then chances are you're just not going to want to do that. You'll be very tempted to spend the money to get the character you want, or in this case, since characters have different statistics, the character you need to get the bonuses on the tracks that you want to play and beat. And even more embarrassing for Nintendo in this case, they've locked the fastest races, the 200cc races, behind a $5 a month subscription. Now, you do get gold gifts for racing and tours, and you will earn badges from gold challenges for that $5 a month, but this is not going to give you very much for your money other than unlocking 200cc races. Plenty of these gacha games, plenty of these premium games, these free-to-start games do have something similar to this. Epic 7, for example, will give you a daily login bonus for 30 days for like $2.99. So it's a fairly similar subscription service, but not on top of a game that is heavily monetized like this. And honestly, this is not what we would expect, and certainly not what we want from Nintendo, the people who just in 2016 promised that they were going to change the way we all played mobile games. Not the case. And while every other mobile company seems to be doing this, and we see a lot of big game companies doing this as well, there's just not enough free-to-play stuff here to warrant this game existing. Like I said, there are plenty of free-to-play games that I play or have played or will continue to play moving forward. Right now, Raid Shadow Legends and Epic 7 are two games that I'm playing every single day and enjoying myself in. But it's because I don't feel compelled to spend money. When I played Mario Kart and Fire Emblem Heroes, all I wanted to do was spend money because that seemed to be the core of the gameplay. And that's really frustrating when it comes from a company like Nintendo, a company that was always about quality. Sure, they're there to make money, but they made sure that the product that you were buying was fantastic. In this case, the product sucks. Way back in 2016 with, Pokemon Quest and Super Mario Run, we thought Nintendo was going to show us a better way and show these mobile companies that they can make money by putting quality over quantity in their games. Turns out that's not the case. I can't even really blame Nintendo for jumping on this train. Certainly people are pulling out their credit cards and doing this, but I do feel as someone who's addicted to these types of mechanics and have been for about 25 years that it's a very dangerous game. At the end of the day, at least I can sell off my Magic cards, but I can't do anything with my Mario Kart characters. No, this is just one man's opinion. I could be wrong. And if I am, I know you're going to let me know in the comment section below. While you're down there, drop a like on this video. If you're not already subscribed to the channel and you want to see more videos like this, hit subscribe. And if you're already subscribed, hit that notification bell because sometimes you will get notifications when I make videos. It's pretty rare, but YouTube's done it like once or twice in the last month. So that's cool. Guys, as always, thanks for watching. I love you very much, and I'll speak with you again.